so let's get started here. We're going to really just dive right in here on the training class. And this is a picture that we took of our training class this Monday. That's you up at the front. Kind of let us know what you're doing here on day one here.
So I kick off the training on Mondays, and I give everybody a big welcome and kind of go through, a little bit of detail on what they should expect when they're there, and also letting them know that it's much, much more than medical billing. People show up on Monday thinking, oh, I'm going to start a medical billing business. That's the thing that's stuck in their mind, and they don't realize what we have in store for them when they find out that medical billing is just a small part of everything that we can provide to doctors, all kinds of different solutions. So that's what we're here to talk about, is what do we cover in all these 5 days of training, and how can you start something like this in 5 days? So that's why we're here.
You bet. And folks, like I said, this is the class that we just had. It kept growing and growing, even up to the last minute. We had some folks that were last Thursday and Friday just getting into this class here. So, and for those folks that are here, I mean, today is already Wednesday. It is flying by through them. And by the time they get through with the class on Friday, it's going to be like a blink of an eye. But there is a lot of stuff that gets covered. So what we're going to try to do today is kind of go step by step on what happens in each day. So Adam, we're going to start really with day one of really what goes on. Besides you kind of kicking things off, I know that you introduce your dad, and he gets to talk a little bit about the company, but boy, as soon as all those introductions are all done, we start with what is revenue cycle management. So you mentioned just a minute ago that people are coming in to kind of learn about medical billing, but you from the very beginning shifted from medical billing to revenue cycle management. Why don't you talk a little bit about that right off the bat?
Yeah, so we get right into the medical billing 101, revenue cycle management. We kind of talk about the differentiating factors between those two terms. And by the way, people that are in this class, I think there were maybe 3 of them had ever done any kind of billing or even heard of medical coding or anything like that. The entire room, basically, starting from zero. So that's what we do. We start from zero and explain to you how doctors really need to take a look at every single point of dealing with patients that are coming in, everything from the very first phone call from a patient to verifying their insurance before they come in. And then what happens when you actually have the patient in the exam room, treating them, how to actually create the claim, send the insurance claim in, follow up on what comes back from the insurance company, and then make sure the doctor gets paid in a timely fashion. So that's kind of a quick, explanation of what a revenue cycle is. But we have a lot of different solutions to help in every single aspect of those different points. So that's what revenue cycle management is.
Yeah, and it gets started right with what we call our advantage. And the advantage for those that are just now learning anything about revenue cycle management, obviously you have to have a software to be able to do that. And our software is not just any old software. It's a web-based software. It's not a something that you load on your computers. And I love how you put it, Adam. I said you talk about nothing comes on CDs anymore. I don't even know what a CD is or a DVD is.
Yeah.
So everything is web-based here. And the advantage that we have, folks, if you can kind of get this wrapped in your head right here from the very beginning, we'll obviously go through that a little bit deeper when you're here during the training class. But all of these components are not 4 separate components. This is a one unit working together. So our iClaim practice management billing system, which we'll show you here in just a moment, is also our electronic medical records platform. But the advantage is what's down below on the left-hand side. And that is what's called our clearinghouse. And folks, what we can tell you today is our billing practice management and EMR medical records platform is the only one that has its own built-in clearinghouse. So just imagine this. Instead of sending out a claim through some type of software that has to go through some third-party middleman clearinghouse just to get to the insurance companies, with our iClaim platform with the built-in clearinghouse, we're actually going directly to those insurance companies. So Adam, right off the bat, I know that this is what we like to showcase, because this is the differentiator, because this helps actually the whole part of marketing. Wouldn't you say so? Because getting this understood really brings in a different advantage out there in the medical billing world.
Yeah, we're really going to dig into how all this factors in here in a little bit. But yeah, I mean, it's important to note that these 4 different quadrants here, these 4 different platforms, if you will, they're all fully integrated, built by one development team, which means that you've got seamless transmission of data between all these platforms. And also you have different groups of people that are able to interact with the system, not only the doctors and their staff, but you as a licensee, a medical biller, and also the patients as well. Everybody has their own portion that they can access and interact with. So it makes it really, it's a really cool system. Yeah.
Yeah, you bet. And we'll get into that. Like I said, we'll show that a little bit. But one of the things that you're also going to learn is medical terminology. I mean, obviously, Adam, as you mentioned, we've got to know at least something going on with the medical world. So I know that our trainer, you might want to talk a little bit about her and what really she starts off here with just the simple 101 medical terminology here.
Yes, we do have to cover the basics of medical terminology. And you know, one thing that we take care of a lot of the heavy lifting for our licensees with regard to you see this CPT codes and ICD-10 codes. Those are the medical codes that have been created for all of the different things that can go wrong with the human body. There's code numbers for those, and those have to be sent into the insurance companies in order for doctors to get paid. Well, those codes are constantly being updated and changing, and it makes it pretty tricky if you're trying to do all that for the doctor. But we take care of that part for our licensees. So we have those codes built in and maintained by us. And also the doctors can use our electronic records platform that we'll show you, and they can actually choose right on their iPad or their laptop. They can choose the codes that they want, and they're always up to date because it's our cloud-based system where we're always updating the system. So basically, when you get done with this class, you have a better understanding than a lot of the basics of terminology and revenue cycle management, even more than a lot of the office managers out there, believe it or not. So that's what we give you in the class. Yeah.
You bet. And then coupled with that, with our support, which we'll get way later on in the webinar, you're going to be set as a subject matter expert. I mean, these folks that are going through class, by the end of Friday, they're going to be ready to go out there Monday and starting their whole approach on getting these doctors. But obviously, we got to learn some of this information, and it's broken down into a real sizable bites that you can kind of get your teeth sunk into it. The other part that you're going to start learning about is a target market. I mean, even from day one, you know, Adam, obviously you kind of go through a pretty big laundry list of doctors that you actually showcase whenever you're introducing not only ABS and the team, but really giving everybody there a long list of doctors that you can actually go after.
Yep, that's one thing that we can provide, and it's I mean, you know, it's really just a list that you can get anywhere that we've purchased. You know, so it's a database of all the medical providers in the United States, and we can kind of section it out for different people in different areas and give them a starting point. But really, the bulk of the marketing that we teach is, you know, how to figure out, first of all, what specialties to go after, which ones are the most lucrative, which ones are having the most trouble, you know, with their receivables. So we cover all of that in the class as well and help you kind of formulate what direction to go when you get done with the class.
So what you're going to learn here on day one is just some big basic stuff. So like if you think of it, just the big picture of everything. So what Adam was saying is that what we're going to look at is not necessarily individual doctors in your zip code area, but as he says, different segments of the medical billing world for each of these doctors. So bottom line here, you can see there, we've got this little tag there underneath target market where it says, any provider using a CMS 1500 form. Now, we're going to actually show you what one of those look like here, just so that you get a gist of that. But really, it's any medical doctor, nurse practitioner, chiropractor, cardiologist, surgeon, any of those folks are using what's called that CMS 1500 form. And it really starts off again by showcasing the first part of that 4-quadrant that we showed you right there with iClaim. And so, Adam, let's get into this. Obviously, we already mentioned that it's a cloud-based system. So I know that we still get some questions about, do I have to load anything on my computer? Why don't you, kind of bridge that gap here? Nothing actually resides on anybody's computer.
That's right. Yeah, I don't know if you noticed in that picture of our live class, but we have laptops on every table for first thing on Monday. So we actually let people get hands-on with the system and train them on the iClaim system on the first day of training. And it's amazing how many people go through it, and when we get done with the session, they're like, "That's it? That's how easy it is? Like, I thought this was going to be some complicated thing," and it's not. It's really very, very user-friendly system, and we have everyone in that room, everyone in that picture, filing medical claims by the end of the first day. That's how easy it is. So we get that right out of the way. But yeah, it's just we're just all logged on to the internet, all those laptops, and it's accessing the cloud-based system that we have. So there's no patient data or any sensitive information that resides on your hard drives as a licensee, which is exactly what you want. You don't want to have to worry about the patient data getting stolen or damaged or anything.
Yeah, you bet. And so, folks, you see this kind of cockeyed here to the left here. That's what's called the CMS 1500 form. Now, Adam, I know that really the founder of American Business Systems is your mom. She actually started this. Explain to everybody real quickly, really what she had to do with that piece of paper converted to what we're having to do now.
Yeah, so what we show people in the class is the absolute worst case scenario where a doctor would still be using this antiquated CMS 1500 form. This is a paper form that doctors have been using for many, 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 many years to fill out, to actually put in the mail and send it in to get paid on. That was the old school way of doing things. And there's still a few doctors out there that have not gone electronic and are still trying to use forms like these. So that's why we take people through the worst case scenario, which is what you're looking at here. But yeah, I actually have memories of my mom in the 80s using a typewriter to fill out one of these forms. That's how long we've been doing this. But yeah, so we show you how to get these other two forms from the doctor, which is the new patient intake form with just their basic name and address and insurance information, stuff like that. And then the super bill is an internal document that the doctors use to select the medical codes that they want to send to the insurance companies to get paid on. So we show you how to turn those two pieces of information and put them into that CMS 1500 form, which then in turn goes into the iClaim system. Now, once we've shown people all of that, it's still, once you get the hang of it, you can do all that in about 2 minutes per claim. It's not a big deal. But once we get through all of that on Monday, we actually show you how, if they use, which we're going to show you in a second, if the doctors are using our EMRX system, it's much, much faster and much more seamless than this. It's very, very fast, very easy, because the doctors are making most of the selections on their side on an iPad or a laptop. So.
Hey, Adam, there's a question that has come in. Howard, thanks for being the first one to ask a question here. But he's asking the question, are there modules for Epic and Cerner? So you want to explain a little bit that, the difference between what we have versus Epic and Cerner?
Well, I can only assume that Howard is asking about integrations with our platforms and those platforms. So Epic and Cerner, those are two big competing electronic health records that are in hospitals and different things like that. So that, I mean, specifically those two, Epic and the other one, I think those are more in the hospital market, which we're not really in. We're more in the private practice sector. But also along the same lines, if the question was regarding migration or integration, we do have the ability to integrate with other EHR systems and different things like that with our development team. So that is a possibility. I hope I answered that question. If not, let me know, Howard, if that needs another clarification there.
Yeah. And so what we're going to do right now with these next few slides here is just kind of go in with us here. We're just going to do a quick snapshot of really what we're talking about here of actually hands-on. So we're simulating basically what you would do on that Monday morning of kind of how you're going to process the claim. So what we're going to do here is through these few little slides here, I'm going to show you that if one of the things that you're going to do here is go to, everything's going to be logged in here, ready to go. So we're going to go to billing. When we get to billing, we're going to enter charges, and we're going to go over here where it says enter professional claims charges. And that will bring up the CMS 15 form. You can see it right there where it says create claim in CMS 1500. So even today, what we're trying to do is educate you. And again, letting you see behind the scenes some of the things that you're going to be doing. What you're going to do at this point, we're going to find a particular patient, maybe one of the ones that you actually created, and then you're going to start entering these codes. Now, these codes are coming, again, from the doctor. Now, in our world, and Adam mentioned earlier that we're going to show you how some of those codes are going to come directly from our EMR system directly into this particular area for you to do the billing. But in this case, we're going to be looking at down here. I kind of got it circled down there. That's actually a code that the doctor diagnosed the patient with. And you can see we typed in R05, and that is a cough. So this information is coming directly from the doctor. You're not going to get the raw notes and go, oh my goodness, I've got to read these doctor notes and then try to figure out what the code is. These codes come in on that piece of paper that Adam mentioned earlier, which is called a super bill, and you're just going to transcribe those from paper into here. And that's what we're showing you right here. Once that's in there, then you're going to get down a little bit lower into this part of it, where we're going to start entering what's called the procedure codes. And the procedure codes is what the doctor is doing for the patient. So as you can see here, as we start typing all this information out right here, you can see that we're going to put in a date, put in the code. Automatically, the fee schedule will come in there. If there's another procedure code that the doctor's done, that will come in here. And then you can see over on the right there in the middle part where it says fee, it's actually calculating the right fee for the doctor. So this particular visit, it's going to come out to be about $137. Once you've got this information filled in, and again, you're going to go through this. I don't know, how long is this exercise? About an hour long, Adam?
Yeah, it's just
once you've got this down, yeah. So you come down here and you create claim, click on create claim, and then poof, you've actually entered into a claim. That's what you're going to learn. That's sort of the hands-on information that you're going to be here with the iClaim platform. So truly, by the time that you get through with everything, you're going to have a good understanding of what to do, at least on the medical billing side from day one. Adam, I even got a text from one of the people that I worked with that's actually in the training class, sent me a text later that Monday saying how comprehensive that first day was.
Oh, really? That's good to hear. Yeah, it's funny because every single day of the class, people get more and more excited because you can never really convey how big this opportunity is until they're actually in the class. So
you're right. What Adam and I try to do, what we're trying to do right now is just simply kind of scratch the surface, look at that top of that mountain and look at everything, but we're trying to give you the best as we can. So let's look at day 2. Adam, let's talk a little bit about EMRX here.
Yeah, and just as a reminder, guys, if you have any questions at all, just type them in that question box and we'll stop and answer them here periodically. So EMRX is our electronic medical records system that we mentioned. This is the system that the doctors use on a daily basis, actually in the exam room with the patient. So as they're treating the patients, they're able to look at everything related to the patient, their chart, their previous medical history. And then once they get done treating the patient, they can, like I mentioned, they can select the diagnosis codes for what's wrong with the patient. They select the codes for any treatment or any medicines that are given. They can do electronic prescriptions directly on the iPad. They can also request lab orders and see lab results right from the iPad. So it's a very, very cool system, very user-friendly. They love using it. It runs natively in the Safari browser or whatever browser that, of the tablet that you're using, which means you're not using like a watered down app. You're actually accessing the full-blown system on the iPad. So all the features are exactly the same. So they love it. Very user-friendly. Yeah.
Some of the components that you mentioned earlier is that it connects with pharmacies, and here we're showing you real quickly that the doctor can connect to all major labs. They'll be able to not only view, but they can order lab results directly from the EMRX platform. It automatically uploads that patient chart. So imagine that the doctor, you're seeing the doctor today, and they say, hey, let's send you, get some blood work done, and the doctor does what he needs to do on the EMRX. And then you're able to go do it once the test results are completed with the lab. That all automatically comes back into the chart for the doctor to read. And it gives automatic notification to the doctor on their dashboard. So this is a well-balanced electronic medical record system, and it's very easy for the doctors to use. Adam mentioned also that it works with the different pharmacies there, that you can connect to the web through there, checks for drug interactions and allergies and dosage levels, and it's got a dosing calculator built in. So anything and everything that the doctor needs, it's right there. And it really, again, as Adam said, it's native to the iPad, the Safari, but it's just a touch. And the doctor's cool. This is the cool thing about it. If they don't want to tap on the screen or type, they can actually dictate directly into there. So just wanting, just kind of looking at all of this and how this is built for, this is the way it looks like. Adam, I'll let you again kind of show a little bit about this, and maybe even tell us what those little color codes down there besides each name, that's what's telling the doctor here.
Yeah, so this is the actual screen that you see, full screen of what you see on the iPad. It looks just like this. And you'll notice all of the buttons are very large and easy to read, easy to press with a finger. We did that on purpose for tablet use. And this is a dashboard for each individual doctor. They would just, if it was a different doctor other than Dr. House there, you would click on resource to change it to your name. But this shows the doctors all the patients that are, in the lobby waiting to be seen, if they're checked in, if they're, ready to be seen, if they're checked out, and also those little the green and yellow circle that you see down there. That's right next to the patient's name. That is a very important feature that follows the patient around in the system on the appointment calendar system, where the front office can see it. And also, as you can see on this side as well. But what that does is that lets everyone involved know if there is anything wrong with the patient's insurance. And that's actually one of the big factors that we have found that have really affected the doctors. If they don't have a system like this that is automatically tracking and updating the insurance eligibility of the patient, then they're actually end up working part of the year for free if they're not re-verifying people's insurance. So this right here lets us know that Gary Cooper's insurance is all good because it's green, and it also lets us know that Holly Marshall's insurance is not currently active, and there's an issue there that needs to be resolved before they see that patient. So that's what those mean. And if you guys want, actually anybody on this webinar, if you guys want a demo of the system, we'd be happy to do that for you. So that's by the way, that's another thing that we do. I don't know if we mentioned that, but part of our, marketing assistance that we provide you is we do a full demonstration of all of our platforms on your behalf. So that's pretty invaluable.
Yeah, matter of fact, I'm going to show a screen right here that during the class, we actually do a simulated demonstration as if we were doing it for your doctor, and this is where you kind of get to experience a little bit of support right off the bat. So imagine that you're in the class, you're watching us as if we were showing this to your doctor, and just the reports that you hear back and forth are amazing. Adam, fortunately, I get a great opportunity, and so do you, we get to actually do some of our demos for our licensees. And I have to say, I did one for one of our licensees just last week. And we were talking about these indicators that you were mentioning right here with the green and the yellow. And the office manager told me this. He says, Eric, I wish we'd have had this a few weeks ago, because we got 80 rejected claims because insurance eligibility wasn't verified. That was just in 1 week's time. So as you mentioned earlier, some of the doctors can work a half a year basically for free. Adam's not kidding. And so when we showed this to the doctor and the office manager, it was exactly what they were looking for. So we really focus in on making sure that doctor gets paid. So these are just, again, some of the screenshots here that we kind of go through during that training course. Obviously, before you become a licensee, if you'd like for us, we'll take you on a tour for it so you can get that. So that's a great way of you kind of kicking the tires before you actually get started. Adam, it looks like Melissa actually asked you the question, what was the significance of the color-coded dots? And she says, but then you just answered it. So that's pretty cool.
I read her mind.
Yep, you did. You did. All right. Yeah, Adam, you want to take that next one there from Howard? Do you see his question there?
Howard must be in the industry. He's asking some tough questions here. So he asked, what healthcare quality metrics can be tracked? Customer experience. So that is another beauty of having a cloud-based system where, the company like ABS is on top of all of the latest, rules and regulations and new things that are coming out, new metrics that have to be met. So basically, every single time the government comes out with a new set of rules, regulations, new payment models, that's the big one right now, is the doctors are having to change how they're caring for their patients, because it affects how much they get paid from Medicare and stuff like that. So we actually have different dashboards that our licensees and doctors can log into and click on that actually shows what type of metrics they need to be meeting, what they are meeting right now, and basically gives them like a scorecard of if they're going to be meeting those metrics or not. So I don't want to get too in the weeds on that, but yeah, anytime the government comes out with something new and says, hey, you're going to have to start doing it this way by this date, we have already updated our system and certified it for those new initiatives well in advance of the government's timeline. So we're on top of it. All the new MIPS and macro models and meaningful use, of course, and new codes and all kinds of good stuff.
You bet. And Howard, just something else for you to keep in the back of your mind, but also in the system, there can be some tracking and some marketing things there too as well. So if the doctor wants to know how the patient ended up learning how to get to that, there are some qualifications and quantifications that can be built in there for some marketing understanding about how patients even got to the doctor in the first place. So there's some pretty cool things there that's there. Melissa's asking, before we move on to day 3, she asked, so is EMRX another service that is offered to the provider? EMRX helps with verification of insurance, and iClaim actually submits the claim. So again, I'll turn that over to you. So is EMRX another service that is offered to the provider, Adam?
Yeah, I guess maybe we didn't make that clear, but we're going to actually, in just a moment, we're going to go into each one of the services that you can offer as a licensee of our company. And so we are able to market the iClaim as a medical billing service, and also we're able to market this EMRX product as the electronic health record system that a doctor can use. They're fully integrated together, but they can be sold as a standalone if that's what the doctor's looking for. If they're looking for one or the other, they can be sold as a standalone. But typically what you'll see is doctors are signing up for the full-blown integrated system with iClaim billing and EMRX and all that kind of integrated together. So yeah, so hopefully that makes sense. But yeah, you're right. The EMRX helps with verification. The iClaim also does the insurance eligibility before the patient even comes in. And that's one thing that we can show you in the demo if you want to get a demo of it.
Yeah, I think a demo is great for anybody, again, wanting to know some more information. All right, let's jump into day 3. I mean, we're already at the bottom of the hour, and we're just trying to get through day 3. Imagine you're trying to learn all of this in 5 days. I mean, that's what we've had people go, man, it's trying to like drink from a fire hydrant all week long, but it is good, solid information. So day 3, Adam just mentioned all these different services. Adam, I'm gonna let you kind of tackle each one of these as we go through these.
Yeah, so I mean, we can go ahead and just jump right in. We're going to talk about each one of these. I'm actually looking, and there's one that's not listed on here. I don't know if you have a slide for it, but we have some new services that we just rolled out that I'm not sure if they're on this webinar or not, but we can talk about those as well. So my point is we're always researching what doctors are really needing and asking for in the market, what help that they need the most. And you know, coming up with new services, new products that can help the doctors in those different areas. And we always grandfather our licensees in. We never charge any extra for new services that we add. So you're always grandfathered in. But this first is service here, CodeWrite. This is a question that I get a lot when I talk to people that are looking into this business. They're like, well, don't I have to be certified in coding to do this? And the answer is no, you don't, because as we mentioned previously, all of the codes are built into our system, and the doctors are able to see those updated codes and make the determinations themselves on what they want to send over to the billing company. But if you do have a doctor that says, hey, I have a lot of codes I'm trying to manage, I want to make sure that I'm coding properly, can you help me with that? We have certified coders that the licensees can lean on to do that work for you. So that's how our licensees are able to go through this little 5-day training class, and they can promote their company as a certified coding company, because we have, I think it's 300 or 400 coders that have gone through the certification that can help with the coding specifically of making sure that all the coding is done right before it gets sent to the insurance company.
Yeah, and the one that kind of piggies back on that same process and with the same certified professional coders is what's called Audit Guard. So imagine that you can go add this to one of your doctor's services and just say, okay, maybe doctor, you have been coding, but let's verify that your codes that you're doing are correct, because they may not have been, you may not have been able to get them to the EMRX platform just yet. It may still be doing it manually. So we've got this particular service that is a standalone service that can do a spot check. So imagine that you could say, look, we want to run an audit on your past few months of your billings that you've done. Let's at least verify that you're at least coding at the proper levels and everything else. Better to be yourself audited than be audited by Medicare or anybody else, because those folks can actually ask for their money back. So this will be a great help in that asset. Here's just some of the charts that you can see that we're able to show you real quickly on the Audit Guard part of it. Adam, you take these next two. Here we go. We're getting into, again, recovering lost revenue.
Yeah, we're on Quick Collect. Okay, so this is a service where, you know, there are doctors who, a lot of doctors, you know, going after money that patients owe them is not really something that they're into, and they don't have to do that if they don't want to. But there are doctors that's greatly affecting their bottom line and their revenue because they're not dealing with any you know, past due accounts. So basically, we have this service that is similar to a collection agency, but hey, the good news is licensees don't have to do any of the work. So you're not calling little old ladies and trying to, you know, get their money. We have a service that we can put them on that you know, does the collecting for you and the doctors, and you as a licensee get to you know, make a little bit of money on that service, but you don't have to do the work. And you'll see a trend here. All these different services that we're talking about right now, you know, ABS or some of our technology partners are actually doing the work for you, so you don't have to do it. The only service really where you or someone you hire that you're doing the work is the iClaim service. Everything else is handled by us.
You bet. And then last one that we're going to get to cover this afternoon, because again, we're going to start running out of time pretty quickly, is iDocs Now. This is a online, secured, HIPAA compliant way of storing documents. Now, Adam, I'm going to pose the question to you. Why would a doctor need iDocs now if they already are using maybe an EMR system? Why in the world would a doctor need a storage for all of this?
So the reason why they would need something like this is mainly if they have a room full of old documents. This system is more for getting rid of the archives, if you will, and the patient records and documents that they haven't accessed in years, but they have to hang on to them for a while, for 7 years minimum. So what we do is we can scan all of the documents, get them archived, uploaded in the cloud, and indexed so it's easily searchable and all that kind of good stuff. And what's happened is we've actually been able to, in some cases, doctors have been able to get rid of these giant filing cabinets and free up space for maybe another exam room to bring in more patients and more revenue. So that's what this service is for. This is also one of the services that we have that can be offered to any business at all. It's not specifically limited to the medical industry. So
yeah, that's a great way of segueing into going into the next day, which would be into marketing and trying to figure out how to make more money as we can go along. All right, so Ruben asked this question before we kind of get through all the technology and before we get into day 4, because we know where we're going, which is going to be marketing in that area. Ruben asked this question. He said he'd like to know how many clearinghouses does our system have? Can I select a specific one to work with? You want to kind of talk about that before we, again, kind of move on from here?
Yeah, Ruben, we do things differently. Pretty much all the competitors out there allow people to, I say allow, they let people try to figure out what clearinghouse to use and how to get that set up in the system and that sort of thing. We've designed our system to be much more user-friendly for people that are just coming into this industry. And so the system, our developers that developed the system itself, the billing platform, the EMRX platform, and all the other platforms, they also developed the clearinghouse. We are the clearinghouse. So what that means is, not only do our licensees not have to worry about trying to figure out which one's going to be best or which one costs, the cost, because the clearinghouse is included. There's no clearinghouse fee. There's no additional clearinghouse fee. So when our licensees fill out that claim form and hit the submit button, it goes through our clearinghouse. We do some additional claim scrubbing and reformatting and all kinds of good stuff. And really what happens is there's no ability for anyone to point any fingers. A lot of times with a separate clearinghouse, you've got, well, your software is the problem. And the software company says, no, the clearinghouse is the problem. So you've got a lot of finger pointing going on. With us, it's completely seamless, and we got to make sure that it's done right the first time because we are the clearinghouse. So hopefully that explains that. Yeah, we've been really happy with how it's working. I mean, we're seeing a less than 2% rejection rate right now. The claims are very, very, very clean before they go to the insurance company, which means there's not a lot of hassle with denied claims and rejected claims that licensees are having to work. So it's been working really well.
Yeah, and Ruben, just think about it. Again, you're going to be able to take a claim directly from iClaim, and since we're the clearinghouse, get that directly to the insurance company, and that's why our rejection rate is as low as it is. So again, if you haven't seen a demo, Ruben, I would encourage you to get that done, and that might help out as well. All right, so let's tackle day 4. Day 4 is a big day because really at the end of day 3, going into day 4, we really are going into marketing. And I believe today, your dad kind of kicked that off. And normally he's on a webinar with us, but he's actually up at the training, I think doing some teaching and training, getting marketing actually kicked off today.
Yep, he is very active in the business still. His expertise is marketing and business development, and he loves sharing the knowledge that he has gained over the past 100 years or however long it is, I don't know, with other people. That's his joy in life, is teaching other people how to take the steps that he took to be successful. And all people have to do is just take what he has done and duplicate it and follow his steps, and you can be successful too, because he wasn't born rich. he was born poor. You know, he was so poor he could sit on a quarter and tell you if it was heads or tails. I mean, that's how thin his jeans were. I mean, so, you know, and now he's doing pretty well. He's doing pretty well for himself. So anyway, and he doesn't have any hobbies either. He loves, you know, he doesn't fish. He doesn't he doesn't golf.
Do anything else. You're right. This is his passion.
This is
Folks,
his passion.
You're right.
Come to Dallas, go through the training, meet Patrick, and get educated.
You bet. I mean, from the guy, that is awesome. Here's what I'm just going to give a quick little, you know, kudos to Adam. I mean, here's Adam. He's been with his dad for a long time, and he talks so highly about
with my dad my whole life.
Yep, no, your whole life. But specifically in business, and still working together. And this is what makes it even fun for all of us who are not Phillips. Great to be a part of this business because Patrick is passionate about this. He's passionate about you that are on the webinar today to make sure that you're learning what you're learning today, even on the webinar. The information that we're given to you is his passion to make sure that you're learning even prior to coming to training. So we're trying to give you as much as we can. Then part of this whole thing about marketing, folks, we just get down to the brass tacks about this thing. Doctors are going to base their decisions not on anything else, but basically upon these things that we're talking about right here. The relationship that you can build with them, the trust that you can build with them, and at least showing them how much money you can help them recover. Adam, so many people ask, well, what if your system doesn't work? You and I know that the system works, but doctors don't make their decisions based upon, does your software work? Doctors make their decision based upon these three things here.
Yeah, that's right. You know, for starters, we don't teach cold calling. So you're not really knocking on doors and anything like that. It's you know, the first point there, relationships. Our main marketing method that works by far the best is getting business from referrals and networking. And, you know, the other secret that we teach, you know, that we talk about this first thing on Monday is if the first thing you say to them is medical billing, you've already lost that account. Because they've been there and done that, and they've had many, many people offering just that one service to them. And so, you know, your initial approach is to tell them, you know, look, I just opened up this revenue cycle management consulting firm, and we've been able to help thousands of doctors, you know, improve their processes, improve their revenue in many ways. So before we can talk about any services or fees or software or anything, let's take a look at, you know, what you've got going on right now. And that's, you know, that's the first step, is to do that practice analysis that we teach you how to do to figure out what's going on.
Yeah, and that practice analysis does position you as a subject matter expert. And I think we've got a little bit of showing how to do that. But folks, it really is. Adam, a lot of people do ask, you know, what is the failure rate of people here? And I think your dad puts it very well. The failure rate are those that just don't follow the system. When they get back up on track and they kind of go back to what they remember during the training class, and they go, oh, let me start there and get this thing kicked back into gear. They find themselves just following the system here. And part of that system is positioning you here as a subject matter expert. Adam, let's talk real briefly. You know, I know we don't have all of the flyers here because we're always adding some new services here, but let's talk about the marketing material over the next couple of slides here and what they're actually getting once they become a licensee.
So yeah, whenever you become a licensee of our company, you get several thousand printed marketing pieces, and we actually will take your name and your logo that you set up for your business and print it on all these materials. You get flyers, you get postcards, you get books, all kinds of good stuff. You get your own website that you can market with. So you get everything that you need in your initial business package to get started and to get clients as quickly as possible. And then I think on this next slide, we're going to talk about the really the biggest reason, or one of the biggest new marketing methods that have been working really well is what I'm trying to say, is this new thriving medical practice. So we have several different books that licensees can use to market with or read to educate themselves. But this one right here in the middle, the New Thriving Medical Practice, this is the book that was just released, that was written by Patrick Phillips, my father, and a retired surgeon, Dr. Vicky Rackner. And it basically, explains to the doctors how to really take a good hard look at every single aspect of what they're doing in their practice to make sure that they're getting every penny that they are owed. Because, back in the old days, before all the different rules and regulations, they would just send in the claims and they would get paid on a bunch of claims, and, money was coming in and they didn't really care, if some got rejected, fine, no big deal, who cares? But now they're really having to pinch pennies, because the government's really cracking down on, making sure that every I is dotted, every T is crossed, and really, obviously insurance companies don't want to pay if they don't have to either. So they're looking for every, reason they can to reject claims. So it's really getting harder and harder for doctors to survive in this environment. And this is what this book helps them to realize, wow, I need to have an expert outside of my office taking care of some of this stuff so we can practice medicine and not worry about, some of the billing aspects and other things. So.
And then the continued marketing part of it, once you start getting involved with a doctor, you always need to keep at the top of the mind list, because you're going to run into doctors, you're going to run into other people. And then what we have is an automated system that actually sends out these postcards, and these aren't e-cards, Adam. You know that. Why don't you explain how this actually works and how this actually sets up a campaign for what we know as drip marketing?
Yeah, so one of our services, we call it Auto Card, and every service that we have, we're all about web-based, cloud-based systems that you access on the internet. So this is exactly the same. So we have a series of postcards, a campaign that is set up and ready to go right now, that all you do is plug in a doctor's name and address, and when you click go, our auto card system will send them out a campaign of different postcards and things. And you can set up, the frequency, when they get the cards. You can kind of tweak it however you want, but it's cool because you set it and forget it, and you're doing drip marketing is what it's called, where they're getting a piece from you every month or however you set it up. And so that you are top of mind whenever the doctor is ready to, finally make a decision. So a lot of licensees will use this auto card system after they've gone through the process of doing the practice analysis. We do the software demo, they give them the proposal, and then they put them on this drip marketing campaign. And, we've had licensees say, yeah, I got a call from a doctor I did a demo for, 3 years ago, and finally he kept getting postcards and stuff from me, and he's finally ready to do business. So you always want to be sure you're top of mind whenever they are ready to make a decision. That's what that helps.
Mohammed, I see your question there. You're asking, how can you get those books that we just mentioned earlier? You can go to Amazon.com and order those books. However, for those, Adam, let's do this. For those that are on the webinar today, if you'll get with the person that invited you to the webinar today, we actually have an e-version of that book, so a PDF of that book. If you'd like to get a copy of those books, just email the person that actually brought you into the webinar today, and we'll get you a copy of that. So Mohammed, be sure to ask for that, and we'll get you a copy of that. Some people want to do marketing with sales reps. In fact, Adam, we know that some people want to even maybe grow not just because they're afraid of marketing. I think a lot of people think, oh, I got to use a sales rep because I'm afraid to do marketing. Folks, there are people who want to use sales reps because they want to expand their market. And so what we're going to teach you in this part of it is these things that we're showing you right here: how to find them, how to interview sales reps, how to hire them, how to train them. We have a complete online training course just for sales reps. They don't have to come through this training course. So they stay away from all the things that you know about your marketing and how much money you're actually making. We keep them separated from that, but then also how you can pay them. Adam, we're running kind of close on time here, so we kind of need to look at the clock here as we go through here. folks, you can still see we're just trying to go through day 4 on the marketing. So let's talk about the practice analysis, and then I'll let you kind of go through this, and I'll kind of flip through these next few slides for us.
Yeah, so I mentioned the practice analysis a minute ago. That's the thing, that's the step that is the very first step that you do before you offer them any service or talk about different fees or anything like that. And it's pretty easy. We teach you how to do it. It's just a series of about 20 or 30 questions that we have printed out for you that you can basically just read off and ask. Usually this is done with the office manager. It takes about 15 minutes or so. And what happens is they will give you answers to the questions. And it's questions about, how are you doing things currently? What system are you using? What's your rejection rate right now? How long does it take to get paid? Do you have an EMR system? Different questions like that. And what happens is we can actually take the information that they give you and help you put together what you see here on the right, which is a practice revenue report, where you can take back to them and you can say, okay, based on the information that you provided me, I've identified some trouble spots, and I am confident that I have some solutions that are going to help you in these a few different areas here. So our support team will actually help you put together that report, and then we're going to make recommendations on what particular services are going to be the most benefit to the doctor, and also make recommendations on how you should price yourself when you put together the proposal. So that's all the steps that we walk you through and help you with. And then when it comes down to it, you're going to take these materials that you see here, which is a really, really nice presentation folder that we have created for you, where you're going to put the different service flyers that you're going to offer in here, along with a really nice cover letter and proposal that we help you craft and put together, that's going to tell the doctor exactly what steps you're going to take to improve their situation and help them thrive in their practice.
You bet. You bet. Which leads us to day 5. And day 5 is getting you all the way up to support. And so what you're going to do here is learn how to, here's this checklist. Here's this system of what you're going to learn how to do, how to name your business, design a logo, order. Now, we don't do that for you. We're going to show you how to do that. But part of what we are going to do is help you get your website back up, because you're going to find one of the ABS templates that we have for you to get that up. So that's one of the checklist things. This is Chad. He's director of our support, and he's actually talking a little bit about, this is basically the last day of training, kind of going through all the things you're going to learn about support. But one of the things that you're going to get is a login to our licensee support site. And Adam, this keeps growing every week, because I know that we keep adding new resources to this on a weekly basis. You add information on there. Why don't you kind of take us on a little tour as I kind of flip through these slides here as well?
Yeah, so this is our private, what we call an intranet. And we've been doing this for a long time and have looked at a lot of other franchises and opportunities. And there's $1 million franchises that don't have an intranet like what we have. I mean, we've really spent a lot of time putting a lot of content on here for our licensees to access. And so this is a site that you have lifetime access to that never expires. So for the life of your business, you can log in here 24/7. And there's multiple channels for support as well. There's an email 800 number, there's a chat. But basically, after you've gone through the 5-day live training, we know that there's things that you're going to need refresher on, different services, different marketing methods. And so that's why we've created this. So basically, inside this site, you've got hundreds of hours of continuing education that you can go through as you're out there marketing and building your business. You can be learning about the industry and the services and the marketing at your own pace on this site. So a lot of good stuff in there for licensees, a lot of good resources.
Hey, Adam, Sean's got a great question here. I'm going to ask it to you, and you'll let you answer. What does the relationship with the licensee and ABS look like beyond the scenes for the support app that you're talking about? So what does it look like behind the scenes? How does it work, I guess, on a more personal level there?
Well, I think I just mentioned that there's several different channels for licensees to reach out. So there's an 800 number, there's a live chat, there's an email that you can access our support team. And I mean, we're there for licensees for any issue that they need whatsoever, any kind of marketing help, technical help, you name it. So, and that's the thing that we're most proud of is now that we are offering lifetime support. We've been doing that for several years now, lifetime support at no extra cost to the licensees. So, you can't beat it. I mean, most opportunities, they support you for, a couple of years and then they want to charge you money for that. We don't do that. We want our licensees to be successful. We want them to sign up as many clients as they can and help them, make that happen.
Yep. All right. So the last thing we're going to show you here, Adam mentioned this book called The New Thriving Medical Practice, but it even gets better than that. What we actually are offering is an opportunity for either you to take the advantage of the already templated forward that we have, or for you to if you need some help, we'll help you write the forward to the book. We'll kind of coach you along a little bit there. But folks, imagine that you can have your name on the front cover of this book. Adam, this is where you were mentioning that this is becoming one of the most successful parts about the whole marketing aspect. I'll kind of flip through the next screen here and you can kind of take it from here as well.
Yeah, I mean, there is no better way to build your credibility as a licensee than having your name as an author of the foreword of this book that I just told you about. So we actually take your name and print it on this book so that you can give it to medical providers so that they can, get excited about, outsourcing some of their stuff. And we have a foreword that's already been written. You can use your own if you want to, but we have one that's already been written talking about, revenue cycle and how to manage that and that sort of good stuff. We had a licensee just recently handed out 3 of these books to 3 different doctors and signed all 3 of them up. I mean, I know it sounds kind of crazy, but that was what she told us, so all we can do is believe her. I don't know why she would lie to us. But yeah, so this has been an excellent marketing tool, and this is one of many things that we do to build your credibility. That's what people ask all the time. Why would a doctor want to work with me? Why would they trust me? And this is one of the reasons, is because we are doing things so that the doctors realize that you've got a team of people working behind you, doing a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, so folks, we just want to kind of show you again, we've done as best we can. Adam, we have packed an entire hour. It is already at the top of the hour. So what we're going to do is sort of wrap things up here. I think I kind of go through these last few slides here, Adam. If you want to kind of look over and see if we've missed any questions, we can maybe tackle those right here at the very end. But folks, the training is held here in Dallas. It's held at a Marriott Suites here. It's actually just called Spring Hill Suites by Marriott. What you're going to do is you're going to need to look in to fly into the DFW International Airport. So if you're having to fly in, that is the particular airport that you're going to need to fly into. The hotel, the Spring Hill Suites, will actually pick you up from the airport. So there's no need for you to actually rent a are just going to take you there. If you need transportation around the hotel, they'll actually pick you up and take you where you need to go. So the times of the classes are going to be Monday through Thursday, 8 to 5. And actually, it kind of goes a little bit over 5, about at 5:30, depending upon that. But then Friday is from 8 till about 1 o'clock. We try to shut things down a little bit earlier so that people that need to get a flight home a little bit earlier and kind of beat the rush hour, you're there, you can get back to the airport by 3 o'clock and hop on the plane and get back home. Lunch is provided by American Business Systems every day except for Friday, because there's really no lunchtime there, but we do provide lunches, and we'll be happy to work with you if any specific dietary needs on that. But the licensing fee does not include the travel or the hotel. So we want to make sure that you understand that that's a part of the business that you kind of incur on that because of the money back guarantee. Adam, I'll let you kind of finish up with this, and I'll look over those questions, and maybe we can, again, finish up with maybe a few final questions here.
Sure. So this is your final safety net. If you, do all your due diligence, you pay the license fee, come to Dallas, go through the training. If for some reason it just strikes you as something that you're not going to be comfortable with, maybe it's just not a model that you feel is going to be right for you, you can ask for your money back at the end of the class. So we let you see everything there is to learn about the class and then get your money back if you don't feel like it's for you, because we want, you know, every licensee to be committed 110% to going out and marketing this thing. So that's we have that in writing in our agreement if you want to take advantage of it.
You bet.